Hello, my name is Garrett Keane and I'm continuing on with the previous series of videos showing how to set up a Telemac simulation for the Shannon estuary. The last thing we need to do in Blue Canoe before we can actually run a model is create or generate a conlim file. And if I turn off the mesh here, what the conlim file actually does, it basically will allow us to specify where we want to open boundaries. Assuming this is Kerry, the Kerry coastline, we'll assume that no flow can go across this line here. We do have a river here, but at this point we're not going to provide. We could put a flow rate in there if we want, but we won't bother at the moment. The top line here is also a closed boundary, it's the Clare coastline, and what we need to do is specify this line from here to here as an open boundary. And that's what we do. What I'll do first of all, I'll show how that's done. But I'll collapse everything here so we have a bit of space. We just collapse everything there. And what I do is come up here. What we have to do is come up here and select boundary conditions conlim file. And we're going to select the bottom. That's saying we're going to use the mesh which we previously called bottom. Then what we have to do is take this. It generates this object here. We take it and we bring it into a new 2D view. If you don't have a new view, you can basically generate it by clicking here. I already have a second one, so I'll get rid of that one. And I come down and I drag it into the second one. And you can see here, it basically, if I just zoom back, it basically shows the elements, but it highlights the outer boundary. Now, because it goes in an anti-clockwise fashion, what I'm going to do is, assume we start here, is I'm basically going to run from here down to there. You don't need to specify the closed boundaries, you only need to specify open boundaries. So what I do is I select this point here. Because I'm going anti-clockwise starting here, they're all closed, all the way around here is closed until you get to this point here. This is our first open point, so I double click it. Then I hold down the shift button, the shift key, and I select the last point. Double click and it's selected this line. Then what I do is I right click and I select add boundary segment. I'm going to call this open boundary, or I can call it C, whatever name you want to give it. I'll call it C, and by default it says closed boundary. Now we have a number of options here. If we want to prescribe an elevation, which is the tide, we go for open boundary with prescribed H. If we wanted to put a river over here, we could normally you would supply the flow rate for a river, so you'd go for Q in that case. You can also do a combination of the flow rate and the elevation, or also the U and V velocities and on their own, or else together with the elevation. So the one we'll go for is this one here. That automatically puts the code 544 in there. The tracer code, we don't use it, but we do have to come and specify it as 4 as well. Open boundary free tracer. We're not using it in this particular simulation, but we say OK, like so, and it's highlighted the boundary there. Now that's saved, so what I can then do is, we have the object here called bottom C, but the one we're interested in is this one here. And if I just select it and then say save, you can see it has the extension CLI, so it's a conlim file, and I just give this the name Shannon A, and that's it basically. If I come back to 2D view here, you can see that's the other 2D view there. So we've saved everything. I'm going to save the workspace. It may ask me to save some of the more recent files we created. So we call the Shannon A, it's already there, Shannon A EWS. Do I want to replace it? Yes, I do. And I'm going to have to save these two objects here. I'll call that Shannon. I created one earlier, so I'll call this Shannon A. And the second one I'll call Shannon A1. I'm not sure which one to delete, so I'll just say both of them. Okay, that's everything. I can actually close down Blue Canoe now, and That's everything. You're ready to run the model now.